Okay, it's 6:30. The call's meeting to order. Welcome everybody, please join us in the pledge of allegiance. And to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have one addition to the agenda, which would be an appointment to the Elderly Housing Committee. Are there any other ones? Accept the motion to add that. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor, Michael? Aye. Linda?
Aye.
Aye. I have no remarks, except thoughts and prayers go out to those people, and that's is there open public comment for items not on the agenda? Please limit to 3 minutes if you want to. Nobody's showing up. Fire department, quarterly report.
Did we get the one I sent out? Did that
Yes.
make it to everybody? Okay. I guess the only other things I didn't include on there is I think we're looking at getting the brush truck should be in town on Thursday. We'll take delivery of that. I think everything's all in order for that to happen, and then from there we'll send it out and get it upfitted and all that. And then the other big thing is just the fire ponds. Working on that. I know Shelley's got put the RFP out. Have you had a chance to? Have you had any feedback from any of the area contractors or anything?
I sent out 5 or 6
Okay.
to all the construction companies in the area.
Okay. And I think those are my big things.
Do you want to just hit the highlights of your report for the people that are sitting here and don't have it?
Yeah, let me give me just a second. I'll pull it up on my.
You want my copy?
Yeah, it'd be easier.
My phone.
It's very exciting.
I can do this too.
So we've had a very busy year. To date, we've had 136 calls for service. Just to put that in perspective, I think last year it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 221 calls for the total year. So we're well above that halfway point. Daytime coverage for calls continues to be a challenge. It's fluctuating, but we don't have a lot of members on the department who are in town during the day, but we do have some newer folks that are, and we're trying to focus some more attention on them and get their comfort levels up and get them with the ability to be able to respond to some of those calls during the daytime hours. And then just the complexity of the calls that we've had this year, there's been some pretty significant incidents, but through all that, our organization continues to work well together, and I'm comfortable and really pleased with how the team's pulling together through these difficult times. As far as trainings go, we recently conducted the state of Vermont put out a exterior firefighter program or an introductory program. So we geared that towards some of our newer folks and some folks who had some interest in helping out on the fire scene but wasn't really sure where they fit in. So we ran that program through, and that took up our trainings for the month of May plus a full day Saturday. And so I think that was a good thing to do. It was the first time that we had run it. It was a self-led, self-taught course. It was just using the curriculum that the state had put forward. And then we'll take some feedback from that and maybe do that again in the future. I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, we took a tour of the Velco switchyard facilities and just had a walk through down there. It was pretty interesting. I'd never been down there before, and I know there were a few of us that didn't realize that there were actually 3 separate switchyards down there. So that was good to see, and it was just good to get the folks familiar with what some of the procedures and policies are for an emergency down there. We've also been doing some pumping and pool fill trainings. And then this evening, we're taking a tour of the elementary school and going over some of their procedures and protocols, and as well as their mechanical outlay and all that. So under challenges, the fire ponds, that's kind of on the top of my priority list. Those have gotten a little bit filled in beyond what we want to see them at, and so we've been working. Shelley's got the proposals for the pond at the end of Newton Road as well as the one up on Huckle Hill, and then I think it's the 28th, next Thursday. Is that right? We're the owner down at the post office, Deborah George, is going to meet us on site, and we're at least going to start the conversation down there and just get everybody on board with what needs to be done down there and come up with a path forward for the future with the post office lot. And then I think I mentioned it in my last update, but I'm not. I included it on this one. Keith Franklin's back on the department again. And also we have a new member, Dawn Cutter, and she has, since she's joined, she's taken the Vermont Emergency First Responder course, and she's also enrolled in the EMT class. And that pretty much sums up everything I've got. So I'm open to any questions or anything that anybody has.
Any from the audience? Thank you for an awesome job.
All right, no problem. Yeah, head down to the school.
Did you spend enough time down there? Town admin report.
I've attended a few trainings and webinars over the last 2 weeks. Fair and equitable housing, smart monitoring of wildfires, climate change and vulnerability index hosted by Windham Region Planning Commission. Last Tuesday, I held a very brief department head meeting. We just basically checked in everyone's vacations and, talked about employee appreciation going into next year and what everyone would like to see. So, cut it very short. At a planning commission meeting I'll be attending tomorrow night to give an update of outdoor recreation master plan. The outdoor recreation master plan survey will be rolling out this Monday, and I plan to post flyers and information on the survey at the library, the town clerk's office, the town website, post office, and with the rec department. I'm looking forward to that. I think it would be great to get feedback from as many people as possible. National Grid is conducting field activities on the right-of-way right now, including several surveys on northern long-eared bats, and they'll be leaving ultrasonic acoustic audio detectors. They're going to be leaving them out overnight, and this ultrasonic range doesn't capture human speech or anything outside the range that detects the bats and similar wildlife, and if anyone sees the equipment, please do not touch it. These surveys begin on the 15th of this month and will run for a few weeks, and if anyone has any questions or concerns, they can contact the project hotline at 844-500-3536 or email at info@newengland.a1b2.com. That's all I have.
Thank you. So, very busy. Any questions? Okay, minute approval.
I wasn't present, so I can't do anything again.
I move we approve the minutes of the select board meeting on June 6, 2023.
Is there a second?
The date's wrong on something.
Yeah, I did correct it after the fact. I apologize for that.
So
It's not the
I'll
6th?
second it as corrected.
It's been corrected.
It's either 16th or the
Oh, yeah.
6th, one of the
Yeah.
two.
I apologize. It is the 6th.
Okay.
It was the wrong month too.
Okay. Motion to made and seconded to accept this as corrected. All those in favor?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain. And I'm an aye. Motion carries. Warrant?
I move that we pay the following warrants: 24 T accounts payable, $88,303.37. 23 S payroll, $8,267.06. 24 S payroll, $9,845.15.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Motion carries. New business, town investments. Cindy, you are up.
Do you all have your, Shelley was going to make sure you have some. Okay, I spoke with Mike Kegler at M&T Bank for a number of times, and these two options that I've presented to you are the ones that he most recommends. They're the most secure. He did explain, as I think I told you last time I talked to you about it, how the bonds work that we're currently in. If we stay with them until maturity, we'll get back what we put in. However, we're not gaining anything. We're not gaining any revenue at all. So, and he said if we wait until they mature and we decide we can move them a little at a time until we get them. And he suggested if we go with the treasury bills, doing like a 1 month, a 3 month, a 6 month, a year, and then as they come due, just roll them over, and then what income is made will go into like savings for us to use again, like we were supposed to. The other one, the first one is the waiting until they mature and then transitioning them over into CDs or money markets or something, where you're guaranteed some sort of income back. The way we have it now, as you know, for the last almost 3 years, we've lost money. And I'm not the only one that was concerned. I've had a number of residents ask me about it, very concerned about it, want to know what we're doing, and I've explained what we're in the process of doing. So that's where I'm at so far. He said if you want me to move forward, he can set up a meeting.
Sure. We gotta do something, and I appreciate you taking the time and doing this.
Yes, very much so.
I have not got the last quarter of this year, obviously, but so far this year, we're still, our money's still down. We have not gained any this year so far, unless we have a huge fourth quarter, or second quarter of this year. Fourth
Yeah,
quarter.
right. Second quarter for them, fourth quarter for us, right.
So, if you want me to, I can reach out to him, and I don't know if you wanna take time to think about, look it over, or if you want me to kind of go forward. The one for the treasury bills, there is a 0.05% fee that we would pay, but with the samples that he gave us, that's already included in that, so it's like the 1 month is 5.02, the 5% has already been paid, or the 0.05
So it was like
has already been paid.
5.07, okay. Okay, thank you.
And, so that would be the fee for, if we went with the treasury bills. If we go the other one with the CDs or the money markets, there is no fee for us.
But the yield is less.
He did not at this time tell me, because it changes all the time, so if
Okay.
we wanna go that route and we wanna
But-
focus on that, then I can find that out.
Yeah, I think we need to, this is a good place to get safe.
Yeah.
We're not, get safe and stable. And I think we need to move toward that, and then we can determine if there are other municipal financial instruments that we can get into that aren't going to do what the last ones did.
Right, because he said, he looked at the bonds and he said, it's the way the market is right now, he said, the only thing you are guaranteed is your principal. You're not guaranteed anything else. But we rely on that, so
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I told him as soon as I got an idea of what you wanted, I would reach out to him again and let him know.
First meeting in August?
First meeting, what's our first meeting in August?
Well, we meet once in July,
Right.
yeah. Or not. Okay.
You get the mother look pretty well, don't
live under it.
We're looking at August 1st.
August 1st, yeah.
Okay. So I'll reach out and let him know that
Yeah.
I'm on for August 1st, and that I'll let him know as soon as we know.
Yeah, and then that's vacation time for people too,
Yeah.
so if you can't do it till maybe the 15th, we could just plan on scheduling this first available meeting in August.
Okay.
Okay?
All right,
Perfect.
all right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
for
Great
this.
job.
Have a good evening.
Okay, Windham County Sheriff's Department contract for animal control services. Your water.
It's not late. Thank you.
Two things.
Mm-hmm.
Page 3, paragraph D needs to be stricken. Municipality, this should not pay interest. Very, and the other question is, I know I've asked you this, Shelley, before, if they are patrolling or come in after an animal and they have to take it to the Humane Society,
Mhm.
and there's a fee, is the fee coming out of their contract, or is the Humane Society going to bill us the fee separately?
That's a good question. I don't recall, and I remember asking her that.
Yeah.
She said she'd have to look at what we had structured.
It's not gonna make a difference as to whether I vote for this going forward, I just
Yeah,
would
let me
like to
make a
know
note.
that.
I think you have to pay pay the Humane Society to get your dog back, so I don't know
Yeah,
why
it's
the town
the
would
owner
get
who
billed.
pays the fee typically.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't think that we would be,
I don't know why we would get billed, because we choose to use that was a pound, so.
right.
Okay,
That's a guarantee for them to make money anytime they get a dog.
yeah, and then the second question is,
You have
do
to
we
show your
have
rabies certificate and pay a fee.
fees for errant dogs?
It's in the dog warden.
Yeah, so there's a
Mhm.
fee at some point? Okay, all right. How do we keep track of that type of thing?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
think so.
sorry I asked.
It's,
Yeah.
no, but it's a good thing to find out.
Excuse me, thank you.
I would entertain a motion, if you so wish, to approve this with the correction of the deletion of the interest charge and authorized Shelley to sign it.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Anything on the floor? Yes.
I would suggest that before you sign it, that you find out about paying any fees, because I find it hard to believe that you won't pay a fee for dropping an animal there to the pound. As it is right now, when you want to bring a dog or a cat to them,
Mhm.
there's a fee for you bringing it to them. Now granted, they're gonna turn around and sell that thing for twice of what you paid them, but I don't think that they're gonna be billing us, I think. But I would say before I'd sign that, I would check that out.
Yeah,
We have a contract with them.
I can tell you,
Yeah. We already have a contract.
We already have a
with the
contract.
Humane
if
Society,
they
yearly.
pick up my dog, cause it got loose, and take it up there, I don't know what it is now, I know it was, I have to bring my dog's rabies certificate, and I paid them $50 and show proof of rabies to get my animal back.
mhm.
The sheriff's department didn't charge anything or to anybody when my dog trotted down the street.
Yeah, I mean, we need the service, and so it'd just be nice to find out, that's all.
Yeah.
But
That was
it's not gonna make a
pretty
difference
involved.
as to whether,
Because we do have that contract.
Yeah.
Further discussion? It's a good question. All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Motion carries. Historians request to roll over funds for masonry work. Heather?
Yes, we would like to have any remaining funds to be rolled over into the next budget year. You approved the masonry work back in March, I believe. And there's such a lag time between finding contractors and then having them come, and the way that, it just seems like we're always behind. And we don't have a huge budget. So to apply those funds to the masonry work.
This comes out of the general fund budget, not the capital budget or a special trust fund of sorts.
Right. Entertain a motion.
I move that we roll $1,200 for the masonry work to be performed by Barber Masonry, work to start in July.
Is there a second?
Second,
Is there discussion?
I have a question. The contract is signed.
Yes,
Can he, assuming can he start anything before July 1? Can he,
he can't give me a start date because everything depends on his schedule, weather. There's a lot of variables in his schedule, so that's part of the problem.
I am not a fan of carrying over money from one year to the next.
Well,
But I understand some of the issues that you're having with this, and you have a contract for service with him, he just can't give you a start date.
right,
The contract is signed, right?
yes.
Okay.
And our budget's a little different because we're volunteers and we need to first identify what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then we need to find contractors and get quotes. And then we need to come to you, and then we need to go back to the contractor.
Yeah, no, I get it.
One of a municipality,
And-
everybody's volunteering, except for the
Maybe
ones
what
that
you
work
do is,
upstairs.
you set up your own little capital plan, like do the walk through the building, see all the things that are deficient that need fixing, and then the things you'd like to do, and get them lined up, a little, and then they just roll. So you're having this trouble this year because of timing.
And we
Then
really
it'll just
don't know
roll.
how much things cost until we actually get
Yeah,
estimates.
Yeah.
And sometimes that changes from point A to point
Right.
B, as we saw a couple
Sure.
of years ago.
Yeah,
So,
did you made the motion,
Yeah,
right? I
motion.
seconded it, yeah.
Is there further discussion?
I just want to note for the record, it's because there is a contract already signed and in existence that I vote in favor of carrying money over.
Do you have any questions, Brenda?
thank
Okay.
you.
All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
I'm an aye, the motion carries. We'll carry it to the- 1% local option tax. A resident has asked that we consider banning any option tax, and I told him I would bring it to the board. Really, that's not our place, because that is a vote of the town. So, I don't know if you have any.
I'm not sure it's a good thing for us to give them a little business, not little business, but you're not gonna make a ton of money off of retail in Vernon right now, and I don't see why we would wanna impose an additional tax on people in town. To ban it, you're right, that's up to town meeting, and it's not a banning, it's either accepting or not accepting, so, right along.
So, Anybody have anything else? So, elderly housing appointment, Darlene Labaducci is expressed interest in joining the elderly housing committee, which needs members.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
I'm an aye, motion carries. Personnel policy. Madam?
Here.
Okay.
Weird order.
So we've been working on this personnel policy for a few months, and this is the VLCT model personnel policy, which I blended with our current policies that were very specific to Vernon, and met with the committee, we put together, I think 4 people on the committee, and came up with this proposed policy. However, there were 2 sections that the board needs to look at and make a decision on, timestamps for compensation at time of separation from employment, and
Where is?
on page 27, and
Maybe
then
we
on,
A few months ago.
That's a few minutes ago.
Oh.
and then on page
It's in there.
24,
No, I just put it back.
and here's vacation time,
So you know what pages things are on.
24 and 27. Would you like my copy, John?
No, mine's back here. I was being shamed because of my mess, so
I don't mind sharing.
that's okay, it's okay.
What is your pleasure, board?
And we approve the changes as requested.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Any questions?
No.
Audience? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Aye, and this is the adoption of the policy, correct? Nice work, town
Excellent
administrator.
work. Thank you. Old business, neighborhood watch.
The other stuff on new business we're not doing, or?
Nope.
Yes, the other stuff was crossed off, they decided not to come in tonight.
Okay. No worries.
I did as you requested, getting some pricing on signage. It was pretty easy to do.
Thank you.
You want one, Sharon? I printed a bunch of them, so I
Thank
may
you.
as well give them out.
She- Need it for the minutes.
What I did is I went over a town map and picked out the strategic places at which these signs would be posted, and counted them up and came up with 20.
Mary Lynn.
And after that, obviously you need bolts to put them on, so I got that, and that's, you might notice I said there are, I can't have my glasses on, but it's 48 streets or roads in town, and placing signs at the main intersections of the neighborhoods. For example, the Vernon Village on Pond Road. The total of signs required would be 20. We have a total of 25 street miles according to information I got from the town map. And you might notice that the pricing is on these signs is by doing them with Amazon Prime, which I have somebody I think that would do that for us so that you get a better price on it. I've had a lot of good feedback from people on it, and whether or not I would get a big participation level, if you will, because the participation level in this is really not much other than I'm at home and I see somebody, I know my neighbor's on vacation and there's somebody poking around their house. I put a call into Windham Sheriff's Department and say, hey, something's going on. It's time for you to earn your keep. And that's, I say that with a little bit of tongue in cheek because, as we all know, response time is not good. God forbid somebody's breaking into your house. But we know what the answer is to that question, and I won't go there. But anyway, everything I've read up on, all the reviews I've seen for the Neighborhood Crime Watch, says that just having the signs alone is a big deterrent. Especially the fact that the signs aren't for people here in town. We're talking about these interlopers that come in and target, you know, somebody's foolish enough to put on Facebook, I'm gonna be in Florida for a week, or, you know, I'm gonna be on vacation at Catskills. And, you know, these people target this kind of stuff. And at least with this here, they're gonna say, well, wait a minute, you know, maybe people are keeping their eye open. To me, it's a cheap insurance policy. Is it a guarantee? No, it's not. But for $400, I think it's pretty good investment. And like I said, it won't cost anything to get the signs up. I'll do that. I'll coordinate with Dave as to how he wants them on, because certain signs in certain areas have to be a certain way. Primarily, my understanding is that they have to be set so that nobody can walk into them, which I don't think a 12 by 18 sign is going to be a big deal. So anyways, I would take it from there and coordinate with him. And judging by what I've read on federal regulations or state regulations regarding signs, we would be well within our limits of putting these up. It wouldn't be a big deal. It's a lot more comprehensive, if you will, if somebody wants to start putting up signs for their business or something on street sign property, which is a definite no-no.
First, are any of these on 142?
On 142, I'm trying to think. I'd have to go look at my map. But 142 is a state
Can't put any signs on
State-
state highway without state permission.
state highway, but if we have town street signs, that's what we would be targeting.
I think the MUPC will let you combine the signs. You have to find out first
Yeah,
if that's legal. Because if not, then you need the price for the posts.
posts, right,
And the breakaways,
yeah,
unless you're putting in permanent.
yeah.
And then bolts, nuts, and washers you don't use for signs. That's only for temporary signs. You want the locking ones.
Well, I know that, and I didn't have a pricing, a mechanism to find that pricing. Those are just a pin you push in, you slam it with a hammer, and it's like a,
I know, I did install lots of them.
yeah. So, and that's not a big deal, but I was just trying to give people a ballpark idea.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know where I would obtain those knock-on sign bolts, if you will. So,
No, I think just kind of the key to the whole thing is making sure Dave Walker clears it. Clears it, clear that, okay with it. I appreciate the effort towards the program.
I appreciate it also. The only other question I've had is, and I don't think we need to, but I'm just throwing it out. Would we want to coordinate anything with the sheriff's department on this to let them at least know that we're doing it so they know?
I could talk to Mark, and I told him my intention back when I first talked to him about being constable. And he thought, you know, anything you can do. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but we have to be careful to some respects as to what we do with the sheriff's department. Especially, my understanding is, you know, I don't know exactly how they are paid for what they do, but if they get a call to go and pick up a dog, or they get a call for something or other, what's the town's avenue for payment? Or is this all included in their contract? Because they're only in town for a very limited amount of time. And I don't foresee that changing in the near future. So I guess the big question is, what are you guys gonna do if we call and have a problem? Are you gonna come and investigate it, or are you gonna come and deal with it, or whatever the case may be? Because we now have the regular contract, I don't know how much that is for our police coverage. And now we have, on top of that, we have the animal control also, which I understand is a good thing, because you got somebody, I'm told that the woman in charge of this has some veterinary background, and that's good. But by the same token, you all, if you go on Vernon Facebook page, I don't think a dog could accidentally walk off his property without somebody saying, oh, there's a dog running here, you know? And that's the kind of stuff that you don't want to perpetuate. You know, you want people, yeah, it's nice to say something about the dog is wandering, but I look at the picture, I say, I know whose dog that is, he's just down the street from his house, what's the big deal? You know, so trying to get people more aware of not going off the deep end with any little critter, you know, that's not in its proper place at the right time. And that's where I question what the circumstances would be with calls. For example, this dog that was wandering around. What happens if somebody calls the sheriff's department on it? Because that's what they're gonna call. You know, what's gonna transpire? Are we gonna get billed more because they're gonna have to come in? Those are things I'm not aware of.
That's
But-
why we got a contract
That's
with
why
the
we
state
have this-
department as well. We
Right.
have a dog, somebody in charge of it.
Yeah.
So we don't have a choice.
I'm just saying, I don't know what it says. But I'm just, you know, just my point on this is basically, this program is a nationwide program. It's touted as being successful. And they even state that even just the presence of the signs, especially when there hasn't been any for a long time. I think there's 2 in town. One of them is out on, of all places, Broadbrook Road. And the other one is somewhere at the north end of town someplace, or south end of town. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, those were installed before anything really concrete ever got going.
Well, when those were installed, Dennis Johnson was chief,
Yeah.
and he had meetings with all the people that lived on the road before he installed them. Is that a requirement, putting the signs?
I don't believe it's a requirement, but it's what they want. What they want you to do is have people know that this is what it's about. It's about neighbors watching neighbors. That's what it's about. And one thing I kind of like, at least I used to, it's not quite as much now as it was when I first moved to Vernon, but people kind of keep to themselves, you know, but by the same token, they know what's going on in the neighborhood, so they see, you know, they know, hey, who's at Michael's house? I don't know that person, you know. What are they doing? They're going in the house. Well, you know, now you got reason for concern. But that's what they want you to do, is get people on board that are willing to, you know, relay that kind of information.
So that just opened up another question. Yeah, I'm sorry. Is this something that the town select board needs to vote on to become a neighborhood watch community? And then have a membership to that, and stay active? Is this, or can we just buy the neighborhood watch signs with their logo and not do anything with it, and not become a participant of their program?
You can go, it's my understanding that we can go both ways. I can give you the particulars on that.
I'd like to see
I don't see a big advantage to joining an organization and paying a yearly fee and getting nothing from it other than a newsletter saying, well, this is what we're doing, or we're updating our sign, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think the main thrust from my perspective is eye-catching warnings, you know, that would help possibly deter problems.
Yeah, I just
But
like
I
to
can
see
get
the
that
paperwork
information.
on it. I'm not opposed at all, please don't misunderstand me. I think this is great. I just want to be sure that we're buying into the right thing
Yeah.
if we go forward, that's all.
If anybody wants to, it's very simple. You can go on, they're online, and you can see their information, the Neighborhood Watch Program, and see just how involved you can get. And I think, you know, you could probably get into it real heavy, but I don't think we want people walking around the streets in our neighborhood looking for trouble, if you understand my take on that.
Yeah.
I think we're going more for the,
Thank you.
what do you call it? That's it, the passive type of stopping things from happening. And, you know, this way you're not committing, you know, people don't have to commit any time. I'll commit the time of installing. And, being as I'm constable, I do go around. I'm particularly fond of keeping an eye on Lily Pond. We're starting with the campfire thing there again. And I highly recommend that we end up getting some signs posted down there stating that no campfires, no overnight parking, carry in, carry out type of thing. The kiosk that's down there isn't for that purpose, that's basically an educational kiosk.
All right, Lord, what is your pleasure?
I just would like to get more information and see, see approval from the town garage first before we do anything.
Can you come back to our meeting in July, which is on the 18th?
The what?
18th?
18. Hopefully I can make it.
Yeah, because we want to see like what streets and have Dave say yes to all of them and that first.
Oh, he'll say yes.
Great.
I have no grave concern.
All right, we'll see you on the 18th.
Very good.
Thank you, and thanks for all your legwork.
Thank you.
Okay, Lily Pond Kiosk sign proposed title. Who's here for that?
Nobody here?
Do you have anything on the show?
I had submitted a whole bunch of background information and who had donated the access, and a little bit of history.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Norma did a little bit of legwork too and submitted a couple of emails with additional information and history.
I'm okay with that.
I just need a motion.
Are we putting a title sign on the kiosk or?
Yeah, so they're engraving it.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's what it said.
I might answer some questions if you have any, because I was involved in this kiosk thing in the Conservation Commission.
I would move that the town recognize on the Lily Pond kiosk Marjorie Tyler Unitas. I won't get into a lot of the details, just due to the long history of her in her family in town and the things they did for us to have Lily Pond.
Is there a second?
Second.
Good luck writing that one.
Is there a discussion?
Yes. In looking over that idea, I imagine it's following the same suit as the Maynard Miller kiosk there. This is nothing quite that extravagant, and it's also not a very big parcel of land, which was also, if anybody looks the history up, was tied into the sale of another piece. So call it sweetening the deal, call it what you will, we ended up with that piece that we have there.
She also created the farmland protection for the town.
Pardon?
She created the farmland protection that is now a thing. There's many more things we can go into what she did
Uh-huh.
for this town.
Well, I think the thing I'm gonna say is, the Lily Pond itself, we don't own the Lily Pond. We own the access. And the Lily Pond is listed with the state as a, I don't wanna call it, there's a name for it, and I don't know what the technical words are. But it's a one of a kind. It's the only one of its kind in the state of Vermont. And not speaking for anybody else on the Conservation Commission, because I don't, nobody else is here. But I think it's important to keep the pond itself, the Lily Pond deal, as Lily Pond, whether it's a natural heritage site natural area.
It is.
It's all listed with the state as such, and I think the kiosk there is an informational kiosk. It's all about, it's gonna be posting different plants and stuff that's particularly interesting to the pond itself. The possibility of possibly naming the entrance as whoever, Unitas Way or Unitas Pond entrance.
There is a plaque already made for that, if you contact the family that has it named to her already, actually. But the town
Named for
did.
that, for
Yeah,
that
The town
road.
gave it to her when they sold her the land, and it was supposed to get put up and never did.
Well, that would be a smart thing right at the beginning of the road, right up there on Pond Road.
Yeah, but the request is for the kiosk, right?
So, you ready to vote?
Well, the kiosk request is from the Conservation Commission, am I correct?
Right.
Right, and we gave you guys like 2 or 3 options for titles to use for that. And
Suggestions.
suggestions, yeah, whichever, you thought was more appropriate. But without getting too wordy, that's the tough thing. We only have like this much space to put it on.
Okay.
Okay, vote. Did you make the motion?
Motion's been made.
A second. Okay, all those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
And the motion has carried. Thank you. And thank you to the Unitas family.
Yes.
She was fun to play Scrabble with. Okay, kitchen rehab, Elmhurst room cabinets, quote. Somebody to speak to it, or is Shelly gonna?
So I contacted many contractors in the area and finally got someone who could come out and give us a quote. However, it was just in the form of an email, but now we have an official quote for $3,285 to demolish the kitchen cabinets that are in the kitchen, reinstall new cabinets, sink, and the cabinets in the Elmhurst room. So,
Yeah.
I thought it was very reasonable. I just want to get on his schedule. He said he may be able to start as early as maybe
So
this
this
fall,
isn't
which
bad.
is really early in comparison to everybody else who said maybe next year
No,
we can even get out there to do some work. So I was excited just to have it in hand.
Hardware.
Yeah, it must be.
So did it go
Yeah.
with cabinets and?
Yeah, it says that.
So no, this is just the labor.
Materials
This is
used
just
for
the labor.
install.
We're gonna go back and look at the cabinets and get all that lined up next, but just to actually get somebody to come out was, it was very difficult.
What? What is your
Well, there
question?
are no cabinets in the Elmhurst room,
No,
so it's just the demolition of the little kitchen.
an installation of the new cabinets as well, though.
Okay.
That's labor as well.
Oh, I see, once we get the cabinets.
Correct.
Okay.
I move that we go with Windridge Builders Incorporated for the removal of existing cabinets, installing of new cabinets supplied by the town of Vernon for a total cost of $3,285.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion? Anyone from the audience? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
So this is gonna come soon. Yes.
Okay, town clerk service window and treasurer door service window. We have a quote from Cheshire Express Company. Shall we speak to it?
Yes, so this quote has gone up, I'm gonna say $2,000 from last year when I had obtained the quote the first time. So this is replacing the double doors of the treasurer's office. with
Interior doors,
The exterior door
the exterior.
with a metal door and a service window and a mail slot. Because right now she's letting people into her office, which is not very safe and secure, and she'd be able to have a service window. So she wouldn't have to have everyone come in all the
Would
time.
people be outside or inside?
They would be outside unless she needs to invite them inside.
So if I,
But she'd also have a drop slot if they need to come around.
all right,
That would be,
She has a half door on the inside, right? No?
oh, on the inside she
Yeah.
does, but that's all locked up.
Yeah, I'm just saying we shouldn't make residents who pay for this building wait outside.
Well, I would think that if it's, the cold weather, she probably would let them in, but, I mean, for
Well,
the,
that's what I'm saying, she
Yeah.
already has a half door.
for the, yeah, that's on the inside though.
Yeah.
So letting somebody in to walk all the way through the building.
That they pay for.
He's asked for the quote, and this is the service window for the town clerk's office, because he has no window. So this would be a window with the, with the service tray.
That's the
That's the.
For the town
2981.
clerk. Correct, yeah.
That's
Well, it's a huge space.
No, that's a big space.
Yeah, it is.
8 feet by,
no, it's stuff's. It's just stuff's
3+
gone
feet.
crazy. That material's just gone
yeah,
nuts.
I looked at it
It's
3
just
times and
nuts.
it keeps going up.
I need to know more about the door before I can do that. I'm not opposed.
Yeah, I have
just-
a diagram and a little bit more
Yeah,
information
okay.
from the last quote that I got last.
All right, so for the purposes of tonight, I would move that we approve number 1, the tempered laminated glass and speak-through deal tray in the clerk's office for the amount of $22,981.
Is there a second? I'll second it.
Is this out of ARPA money? And was this a request from Tim? Or from the town clerk?
This has been a request for a very long time. It's been going on for more than a year.
I know a lot of places have it.
With the windows?
Just
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah.
have a window, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, Michael,
Aye.
Brandon,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
and I, motion carries.
Tell,
Please take roll.
Madam Town Administrator, tell the treasurer I'm not opposed to this, I just need to know a lot more about it. I don't like the
Okay.
idea of people hanging out in the cold.
Um,
No,
that
I'm
concludes-
sorry.
That concludes our meeting.
Well, not quite.
Okay,
We have the box at the front door, right, that Tim put in,
Mhm,
that if people were just coming in to drop a bill off,
mhm,
they can and do,
right.
and could put it in that.
There's some people that want physically hand
But-
theirs.
Right,
Yeah.
but I understand that, but they should, I got a lot of thought to do on that.
No, I agree.
Okay,
It's a lot to think about
Yeah.
and discuss and.
all right, I move we adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
It is non-debatable, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One aye, the motion carries, and we have
Wow.
7:23.
I tell you.